And it's Gordo here from Gordo's Games. We're back for some more content for you. So we are here for another Commander deck profile for one of the few decks that I've been playing. I say few, I keep building too many decks. It needs to stop. It's becoming an issue. But we're going to be going over Megatron. It is another Transformers, it is another IP. As you may have noticed the theme, I created a lot of IP decks very, very early on. And I've continued to do so. It's not because I don't like the magic ones. There are some magic commanders I've started building into. It's just these kind of hit home for me a little bit more nostalgia and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so let's get into the profile. Before we go further, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you know when this content goes live for you. And if there's any input you'd like to make on these deck profiles, any way that I can improve it, or anything you want to see relating to the content itself, if you have a deck profile you want to see or a deck you want to share, hit me up in the comments. Otherwise, don't forget to join the Discord as well if you do want to join in some of these games, because we will bring in gameplay videos out shortly. And otherwise, you can catch me over on Twitch as well. All of the links are down below. And yeah, let's go. So here at Gordo Games, we have officially just moved on the YouTube partner program here. So for anybody that is looking to support the channel, it is greatly appreciated. For those of you who have already supported us already in our journey to get to where we are. We are currently at the time of recording this at 740 subscribers, which is a massive achievement for us, as this was something I started randomly during lockdown, and it's kind of gone on from there. But we did just move on to that. Apparently, they said it can apply it early, and they said yes. So that for me is a goal. If any of you do wish to support, we are looking to add to this more as we go along. At the moment, generally, we are still in the process of building these things up here. We have just moved into doing Magic the Gathering content, so we are going to be looking to add to the quality we do with the content put out there. If you do wish to join, here is the details here. Just want to go over just on Gordo's Games, join this channel, $4.99 a month to become a loyalist here, and you will get access to some of our badges, emojis, and with this, the more we develop in it, the more things we're going to add to this, so we can look at potentially adding in altar sleeves for you all, or some unique items just from Gordo's Games himself. So if you do wish to support, we'll see you in there. Alrighty, so here we are, Megatron. As you can see here, Starscream in the backdrop there. We have done a profile for Starscream. Don't forget to check that out. The link will be in the on the screen somewhere around here. But don't forget to check that out. But we're looking at Megatron today. Megatron the Tyrant. Now, as we know, Megatron basically, from anybody that's watched the animated series or anything like that, no, they basically know he's a dick, effectively. He's not here to make friends, he hates humans, so realistically we're going to be doing a lot of board wiping, throwing out some big beefy bodies, and it's going to be a lot of artifacts. So let's look at the cards. To begin with, we've got the front side of it, which is Megatron himself, which is Mardu colours. Has a more than meets the eyes cost of 1 black, 1 plain, 1 mountain, and 1 colourless, and you can play it out flipped. Your opponents can't cast spells during combat. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may convert Megatron if you do add colourless for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. So this play is similar to like Neheb. So you're going to do a lot, the more damage you do to them in a turn, the more mana you're going to have to be able to pop off in your post-main phase. What you tend to do here is you'll 9 times out of 10 you'll be flipped into your tank form. You go to your post-combat, then you convert back, and it'll allow you just to try and use that colourless to throw out some big chunky bodies to go with it all. It's a 7/5 on this side, it's a 4/5 when flipped. But let's look at the tank. Megatron Destructive Force. So Megatron Destructive Force has living metals. As long as your turn, this vehicle is also a creature. The great thing about this is because we end up being on the tank side for more 9 times out of 10, it doesn't mean we don't have a blocker. That's one downside to it. But when it comes to like creature removal or creature board wipes, things like that, we get missed out on those parts, which is always great. So you see Wrath of God, great, have fun. You see Vanderblast, not so much fun. We do take that one personally. So yeah, we can miss out a few things. We obviously had to ensure that we do play around that sometimes, because it can catch us out when we're left with no blockers. That is probably the big downfall. But we have enough bodies normally to try and do something about it. Usually, or we've cleared up enough of the board. but its effect. So whenever Megatron attacks, you may sacrifice another artifact. When you do, Megatron deals damage equal to the sacrifice artifact's mana value to target creature. If excess If excess damage would be dealt to that creature this way, instead that damage is dealt to that creature's control and you convert Megatron. So in a way it works like trample. So we're gonna any excess damage dealt to the creature is then gonna ping the controller's face. Any lives that they lost will then give us colourless mana if we go ahead and flip it back in our post main phase. So again, like Starscream, this is very on flavour for Megatron because he generally does not give a crap about anybody. He will sacrifice anybody to get what he wants, and that is literally the theme to the deck here. But let's get into the breakdown. So, looking at the breakdown itself, then we run for rampant lands. We run 48. We do want to try and get the pieces out as quick as possible because we do run a lot of big creatures in this deck. So we do try to keep it so that we've got a good amount of mana open to us. So if we do have to hardcast them. Card advantage, we run 15 pieces of card advantage. Now a lot of these are pseudo card advantage because there are a lot of like recursion from grave for artifacts, which we'll go through when we get there. Board wipes, we do run a few board wipes here because we are artifact based mainly. A lot of the board wipes don't tend to affect us, so it's no harm in just resetting the board every so often. Some spot removal 6, and enabler we have 1. So let's go into the ramp side of things here. Start obviously with the the sad robot being a main piece because it's an artifact in there, and who doesn't want a sad robot? If you're not running green, run a sad robot in. But let's start with Arcane Signet, Borrow Signet, Everflowing Chalice, Illuminor Cesarus. Now this is not affecting the ramp, the obviously has to be on the board to do its thing, but sacrifice another creature, add an amount of black equal to the sacrificed creature's mana value. So this just gives us a chance to, whereas because we do have something that allows us to get haste pretty easily, whereas we can try and benefit off of sacrificing a big creature, and we are going to run a lot of those because we're going to be sacrificing to Megatron, and then use this, you can then extend your turn out even further. Jessica's Will, Route Clamp Ironwork, sacrifice an artifact, add 2 to your mana pool. Mystic Forge, you may have to look at the top card of your library any time, so this is like Bola Citadel for us here. We could run Bola Citadel, but I went with Mystic Forge based on the amount of artifacts we're running. You may cast artifact spells and colour spells on the top of your library. Tap, pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library. Orzhov Signet, Rakdos Signet, Smothering Tithe, Soul Ring, Solemn Simulacrum, Sad Robot, and the Reaper Cleaver. Overall, these allow us just to try and get as much advantage as possible. We're running the Reaper Cleaver because it does give us trample as well, so it does give us the chance to get even more mana when we are swinging. Because when you swing, you convert, and you are going to be swinging at them with a 7/5, so making that 8/6 with trample. And then if you throw an artifact at them as well, there's potentially a lot of mana there to then pop off in your post main phase. So, apologies here, we had a bit of a hiccup on these, so I'm just going to cover these off because apparently my thing didn't want to work correctly. The Combustible Gearhulk, Dark Deal, Demonic Tutor, Disciple of Bolus, Faithful Looting, Lasheel Clockwork Scholar, Mere Retriever, Reforge the Soul, Ruin Rider, Saheli's Directive, Scarecrow, Scrap Trawler, Solemn Simulacrum, Vampiric Tutor, and Workshop Assistant. Apologies that didn't come in like it normally does. That's on me there, but I'm just going to give you the rundown overall of what things the pseudo card advantage I meant. So we'll take for example Workshop Assistant. There's a few exactly like this. So when the Workshop Assistant dies, return another target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. So things are going to die when I've sacrificed them, and obviously we can then look to recur them back. Or if we do board wipes, all these things that die for us are going to keep recurring things back for us. So we're going to keep taking value out of our graveyard to help push our win commons further. We do run things like Reforge the Soul, Ruin Grind, and Dark Deal, which allow us to wheel. So yeah, just to try and get as much cards as possible on hand. Disciple of Bolus again, so we will target something, sacrifice it, and draw cards based on X amount, which is its power and toughness or mana value, one of the two. But generally, we're going to recur things. We don't have a lot of mass amounts of draw power. Your biggest draw power is probably going to be Lasheel. Once per turn, you get to draw once you play an artifact. Combuster Gear Hulk, they have the choice to give you draws, Faithless Looting, and then we have a few tutors in there. But overall, it is mainly pseudo card advantage, just grabbing things back and reanimating. Going into the board wipe, spot and removal, and enablers. So I've decided to do this all into one thing here because previously I've just set what I've done slides where it's just been one card. I find it all but a little bit pointless. So I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible for everybody here and make it, you know, a little bit tidier. So, board wipe time. Mandate of Abaddon. Choose a target creature you control. Destroy all creatures with power less than that creature's power. We just want to try and wipe the board as much as possible because at the end of the day, we're playing Megatron. We just want to kill everything. Methods of Snap decks. Now this is a not necessarily a complete board wipe, but it can be quite brutal. I put it under board wipes because you are removing a lot of their resources. So each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from one of the non-land opponents they control. Then sacrifice the rest. If red and black was spent to cast a spell, you choose the opponent to put each player instead. So you can effectively leave them with the worst possible things on board going. And that's why I do think it falls under a board wipe side of things. Organic Extinction, if you run an artifact, then run this. If you have the Shurikai deck as well, so it's just a generally good card. You can improvise your artifacts, can help cast the spell. Each artifact you tap after you've done activated mana abilities pays for 1, and then destroy all non-artifact creatures. Their name is Death, destroy all non-artifact creatures. Moving on to the spot removal, so we have Canoptic Tomb Sentinel. I probably butchered that name, but you know, we'll roll with it. So it's got Vigilance, Exile, Cannon. So when Canoptic Tomb Sentinel enters the battlefield from a graveyard, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent. So it does have Unearth, so it does allow us to do that pretty easy. Because even if you don't get the original cast, when you cast it from hand, when it goes to the grave, just unearth it, bring it back, and get some value that way. Allows us to get it generally just something off the board that's potentially a problem. Cityscape Leveler, when you cast a spell and whenever Cityscape Leveler attacks, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent its controller creates a tapped Power Stone token. So we do give them a Power Stone token, but we are potentially moving big pieces from their board. And then also if you give this haste, you can play it in and then swing with it, you're removing 2 things. Generous Gift, standard destroy target permanent, its controller gets 3/3 green elephant creature token. Portal to Phyrexia, this is soon. It's generally spot removal, close to the board, but it depends on their board states really. 1 Portal to Phyrexia enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures. At the beginning of your upkeep, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It's a Phyrexian in addition to its other types. So this just allows us to just kind of get some more board advantage, and it doesn't have to be from ours. It's from a graveyard. And then we have Spine of Ishtar. When one of Ishtar enters the battlefield, destroy a target permanent. So this, yes, we are bad people. Alright, this does have the potential to do land destruction. Now, with great power comes great responsibility. You do with that as you will. Obviously, if you start destroying lands, don't expect to have friends. That's my disclaimer. When Spine of Ishtar is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, return Spine of Ishtar to its owner's hand, so we can just kind of keep reusing this time and time again. Vandal Blast, this falls under both board wipe and spot removal, depending on the deck we're playing against. It's not necessarily removal for their creatures, but it can be for all of their value cards like Soul Rings, Arcane Signets, Thought Vessels, all that kind of stuff. Or if you're playing in against an artifact deck, there's loads of artifact creatures, you potentially can wipe the entire board. Otherwise you can use it for targeting removal. And our enabler, Sneak Attack. This card puts in overall a massive amount of value here. Yes, I particularly chose this artwork to show you all because I just picked this one up recently, and I really like the artwork. When you pay 1 red, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. That creature gains haste. Sacrifice the creature at the beginning of the next end step. We run a lot of recursion from the graveyard, so us putting things in the graveyard at the end step and being able to swing with it, or just throwing out a body, getting its ETB, and then sacrificing it to Megatron is fine for us. This card alone puts in a hell of a lot of work and can really push your win con a lot quicker than expected. The only thing to be mindful of these, obviously, because you are going to be looking to throw things to the grave afterwards, you can't, with the card advantage, make sure you've got something in hand just to kind of keep restocking your hand with cards from grave or some form of draw power. But overall, sneak attack puts in a lot of work. So the link to the deck will be down in the description below. But your overall game plan here is you're going to run these big beefy creatures like Cityscape Leveler, Ancient, Words Hard, Blightsteel Colossus, all that kind of nonsense basically. You're going to run all those big beefy artifact creatures, you're going to throw them out, they're going to do some damage, and you're going to keep controlling the board by using Megatron just to fling damage at creatures. So even if they don't block, you can just still fling creatures at them, deal damage to that, deal excess damage, get yourself mana. And we do run the Heaven here as well alongside Megatron, so if you do have Neb and Megatron out, you're going to potentially get colourless and red mana by just going into a post main phase, which can be an incredible amount of value. But overall, if you do like the deck and you have given it a try yourself, or if you've got any thoughts on how I can improve this, by all means let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, we will catch you next time here at Gordo's Games. Thanks for tuning in.